What's going on? It's Chris Badan. Today, I wanted to talk about some keyboard drums. Alright, story time. So I've been doing keyboard drums for, I don't know, I guess since about 2009. That's actually when I got this guy. It was my first ever MIDI keyboard. I wanted to make sure I got semi-weighted keys, I didn't have a lot of money. But I got this guy, I used it how you would use it, You would program synthesizers and piano parts and stuff like that, but then I came across EZdrummer. That's when I learned how to program drums, but then it wasn't sounding real, So I wanted to figure out a way to make it sound real. I didn't really have, I don't think I had a drummer at that time, but I love drums and I love hearing drums and, So I just kind of was like, well, I don't want to have to wait and find drummers. It's going to take too much time and I want to write right now. So I just kind of learned, over time and over just kind of tapping on desks and stuff. And anyways, I wanted to talk about programming drums using a keyboard, because the cool thing about doing it this way is you can make it sound natural through your keyboard if your keyboard is velocity sensitive. And you don't have to have a big old keyboard like this. Like I have a small one that I paid like $50 for. I think it's an Axiom, not Axiom. It's an Akai. I'll throw it in there. Yeah, if you have velocity sensitive keys and you have a drum program that is multi-sampling, like Superior Drummer, GGD, which is what I'm using, you can do it this way and then lay out at least a foundation and then go in and add your little notes here and there, add your ghosties. You gotta add ghosties. Yeah, let's dive into it real quick. So here we are in Ableton Live. This session that I have open is a song that I'm going to be releasing. We're going to be releasing this real soon, but I thought it was a good example because I programmed all the drums for this thing. So here's all the programming that I did, but here's the thing is, a lot of this stuff I used my keyboard. I played keyboard drums. Okay, so I got my Axiom keyboard and I have it mapped. I'll show you my mapping. Here's good drums. So here's the mapping, and I know it looks a little scary, but it's not too bad. So the way that I have it lined up, or I guess mapped out on mine, is you have 2 kicks, snare. And the reason why I have that is just so you can do the but then I kind of have it laid out as if, well, it's close, to kind of playing real drums, so I have, but I guess the weird part is these low toms. The reason why I have them here is because I like to, so, but then I guess depending on, because I'm left-handed, but depending on which side you are, you'll have, this is kind of, I'm always kind of working on this hand, but I have, gotta have the stack. But let's show you how I go about mapping this. Okay, so let's do the kick. So we'll go over here to kick, main hit. Now it's a little weird, and I mean for us in this case with the kick, it works. So when you go to keybind your keyboard, you have to almost hit everything twice, which is a little weird, but so you go ahead and it's recording, so it's saying, hey, I'm ready for some input. So I want this kick and this kick, and you can see B0, C1. So then go to the snare, main hit, click it, it's recording. So now, and then you just go off and do the same. So we'll go to toms, high tom, main hit. So with this, I only want the tom on one of them. So I actually have to hit it twice. See how I moved it like that? If I was to just do it once, well, it's still recording, so if I go off to try and play something else, well, I'm going to screw up my mapping, and I'm going to be like, okay, I have a tom on my kick or something. So, hit that again, stops recording. We'll go to mid tom 2, floor tom. Cool. So another thing, since I'm noticing, is this velocity curve here. And I think a lot of this comes down to personal preference. But I like to stay on these top two. The reason why is if you want more of a consistent, like just straight rock, heavy drums, then you want to come here and you got, it still has, you know, all the samples, but if you come here and you notice the difference compared to, just doesn't seem like it goes as far down with the samples. So when I'm trying to do ghost notes or I'm trying to, you know, be a little groovy, I'll keep it here. But if I'm trying to do straight rock, like for example, this one I did straight rock. So I bump this up. And then to continue on, you know, you can set all this stuff up. It gets a little confusing here, but the way that I have it set up is I just have an open hat. I think I have like a semi-open hat. And then I have like a closed type hat here. Besides that, I think the next thing that we need to talk about is technique. And I know that sounds funny with keyboard drums and technique. But the cool thing about doing keyboard drums is, you know, you can practice whenever. Just as long as you're, you know, if you can practice that, you know, when you're just kind of hanging out, even if it's, you know, on your legs or something, then you can get used to, you know, you have your hi-hat, you have your kick and snare. I always do kick and snare, hi-hat. When you go about playing keyboard drums, you know, you're going to be able to, you know, you got 4 limbs here, I guess, but you're going to want to program and write out these drums so someone can play it, your drummer can play it, because you're going to play these crazy beats, and I'm a little guilty with this song, and I'll show you that later. My drummer's having a hard time with the ending of this. But, you know, you want to try and program to cater to your drummer, because the last thing you need is to write this sick song, you're super pumped about it, then you guys go and try and rehearse it, and your drummer's like, what are you doing? I can't even do this, you know? Yeah, guilty. I'm definitely guilty, but, you know, you'll learn to find a balance, and the cool thing about me writing drums is I'm pushing my drummer, you know? I'm pushing him to be a better drummer, because some of these things, he's like, man, I don't even know if I can do that. Then he'll sit down and bust it out easy. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I went to the end of the song so I can find an empty spot. Let's try and just get the kick and snare going. So once that becomes a little easier for you to do, then you can, you know, start working on double kicks. And then, you know, you can start adding your little hi-hats in there. Let's see if we can do that. A lot of this is practice, a lot of practice, and getting frustrated and thinking to yourself, man, am I ever going to get good at this? You are. Just keep doing it every day, and just practice. When you go down to write guitar write a song, or even write a riff, what I would recommend is just write that riff out, throw some bass on it if you have a bass. If not, then grab your guitar and just do the power chords. That's how I did it when I didn't have a bass. But write out your riff, write out your bass line, and then just start jamming on it. You know what I mean? Just start jamming on it. Do simple stuff. Don't get weird. You don't have to get weird yet. But just so you can get used to, your fingers can get used to, doing different things. Just kind of like as if you were playing real drums, Okay, so I programmed that little chorus that I did in the beginning. Just wanted to show you what it looks like after I, go off and record a keyboard drum part. So it looks a little scary, it looks a little daunting. It's all written out for you, which is cool. So what we have the first thing that I'll do is I'll go off and make sure that there isn't any weird hits, like this here should have been a double, I believe. Let's see. Come here. After I recorded my keyboard drums, I'll check to make sure there isn't any, miss triggers and stuff like that, because that could happen while you're playing. You can accidentally hit a key or something like that, and so you'll go in and just make sure that everything looks okay. Like right here, you can see that there's a miss trigger. Just get rid of that, and just go in and just verify that there isn't anything that's weird. Like I don't think that's really anything. But once you go off and do that, then you have your part. Then you can go off and write the next thing, or show your band this, or if it's just you, then if you dig it, just move on. The way that I have noticed what I've been doing lately is I'll sit down and play guitar, and I'll start writing a riff out. And then all of a sudden this riff turns into like a part, or like a chorus or a verse or something. And I'll write everything up to the drums. And the cool thing about that is I have the full idea, or I guess what I think of the idea, or my evolution of an idea. And then I can go off and show my drummer or whatever. Once you get good at this, you're going to have friends over and you'd be like, check this out. And then you're going to bust it out. They're going to be like, what the? I know there's not a lot of keyboard drums out there, or keyboard drummers out there, but I wouldn't even really consider myself a keyboard drummer. I would just consider myself someone who didn't want to have to wait to get a drummer to write songs, But what's cool is now I can write drums. Now I can write drum parts, and I can understand how it works, and the four limbs thing. But again, it's gonna come over time. It's gonna come over time, and don't get discouraged if you're not as good yet. Right away. It's okay. Just keep practicing, and you'll get good. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for taking your time out just to come and check me out. Subscribe. There's a little bell. If you hit that bell, then every time I come out with a video, then you'll get a notification. Then you can, just keep learning. I want to do some covers too. I keep saying that. But I'm going to do some covers. I have some written out that I just need a remix. So, but again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.